Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Daily Easy English Talk. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, dive in with us. Today, we're zeroing in on something simple, but actually pretty powerful in how we communicate in English.
Yeah, it's about how we respond to ideas.
Right? Exactly. Think about it. How often each day does someone suggest something, a plan, an idea, and you need to react, hopefully positively.
All the time. Work, home, friends.
Right. And if your default, your go-to phrase is always, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, you might be missing out.
Missing out on what exactly?
Sounding, more natural, more nuanced, more like yourself, really.
Okay. So that's a good idea. It's not wrong.
No, not at all. It's fine. It's clear. It's positive. It gets the job done, you could say.
But there's always a but.
Well, it's like using the same spice on every single meal.
Yeah.
If you rely on it constantly, your language can start to feel a bit
Predictable.
yeah. Or
Yeah.
maybe a little flat. It doesn't always quite capture why the idea is good or, the specific way you feel about it.
I see. Like, are you agreeing because it's clever or because you're just excited? Or maybe you just think it might work.
Precisely. Good idea. Just kind of lumps it all together.
And that's exactly what we're digging into today. We found there are, well, at least 5 really distinct ways people affirm ideas in English, ways that go beyond that one phrase.
So the mission for this deep dive
Is to unpack these 5 alternatives. We want to understand the subtle differences, like when's the best time to use each one? How do you use them effectively?
and we've got some examples to really bring them to life, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about swapping words. It's about adding tools to your communication toolkit so you can pick the right phrase for the right moment.
Making your English sound more expressive, more engaged.
Exactly. And ultimately, more like someone who really has a feel for the language, who can react in different ways.
It really is like finding the perfect word, isn't it? Sometimes good is, well, it's just not specific enough.
Right. An idea might not just be good, maybe it's sensible.
Or it's a definite plan.
Or maybe it's just, wow, that's exciting.
So by exploring these alternatives, we're not just learning synonyms. It's more about being precise, dynamic in our everyday chats.
So let's get into these alternatives. Each one offers a slightly different shade of meaning, a specific flavor that's a good idea often misses.
Okay, let's start. What's the first one?
The first one we've got is, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear that quite a bit. When would you typically use this one?
Well, think about ideas that are fundamentally logical, reasonable, maybe clever in how they solve something.
So it's about the logic.
Yes, that makes sense. Really validates the reasoning behind the idea. You're not just agreeing with the suggestion itself. You're saying, I see the thought process, the rationale. It clicks.
Okay, so what kind of ideas trigger this? Things that are efficient.
Efficient, yeah. Or maybe based on good analysis, or they simplify something complicated. Or sometimes it's just the obvious, sensible next step.
So when you say that makes sense, you're kind of nodding to the smartness of it, the practicality.
Exactly. It's like an intellectual agreement. Shows you followed the logic and you either agree with it or you appreciate that the other person reached a solid conclusion.
Got it. So perfect for those well-thought-out suggestions, things that solve a puzzle or make things smoother.
Right. Like imagine you're trying to figure out the best way to tackle a busy morning.
Okay.
And someone says, hey, let's finish writing this report before we head to lunch.
Okay. And the response.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And why does that fit so well there?
Because finishing before lunch is all about practical time management, isn't it? It's logical. You get a focused block of work done.
Right. You avoid breaking for lunch and then having to gear back up.
Exactly. It creates a clear boundary in the day. It's just
Sensible.
pragmatic.
So saying that makes sense highlights that logic.
Precisely. You're saying, I see the efficiency, the sound reasoning here. It's more specific than just good idea. It tells them why it's good, because it's logical.
Okay, that's clear. It underscores the soundness of the thinking. So that covers the logical ideas. What's next? You mentioned something more about action.
Yes, the next one has a different energy. That sounds like a plan.
That sounds like a plan, right? That feels very forward-looking.
It absolutely is. This one is less about the logic behind an idea, though it might imply it's logical, and much more about confirming agreement to a specific course of action.
So agreeing to do something.
Yeah, agreeing to proceed. It's got this sense of readiness, often a bit of enthusiasm for whatever's been suggested, especially if it's a social thing or the next step in a project.
It's very conversational.
Very. It signals, okay, count me in. let's do this. You hear it all the time when people are setting up meetings, making plans with friends, agreeing on what to do next.
It definitely has that collaborative feel. Like, okay, we're moving forward on this together. What's a typical scenario?
Super simple one. Someone says, let's meet up at 3 p.m.
And the response?
Sounds like a plan.
Perfect, because let's meet at 3 p.m. isn't just an idea, it's a concrete proposal.
Exactly. It's a specific time, a specific action. Sounds like a plan is just a really natural, friendly way to lock that in verbally.
It's like giving the green light for that arrangement.
Totally. And think about comparing it to that makes sense. You could say meeting at 3 p.m. makes sense if, say, that time works logically around other commitments.
Right.
But sounds like a plan is purely about the agreement to the arrangement itself. It's about alignment and readiness to do the thing.
Okay, so that makes sense. Validates the logic. Sounds like a plan. Confirms the action. Got it. But what if an idea is just nice? You just like it. But there's no deep logic or immediate action step.
Well, that brings us nicely to the third one.
Which is?
I like that idea.
Simple, direct.
Very. And that's its strength. It's noted for being effective in pretty much any setting, casual chats, work meetings.
Why is this so versatile?
Because it's straightforward. It's a clear, personal endorsement of the idea itself. You're saying, this resonates positively with me.
Without getting into the why too much.
Exactly. You don't need to analyze its logic. You don't need to commit to doing it right away. You're not hedging your bets. It's just, I like it.
And because it avoids idioms or strong slang, it works everywhere.
Right. It's safe, universally understood, just a solid, positive response focusing on your own positive reception of the concept.
So it's a good all-rounder, maybe when you just want to be positive and encouraging.
Yeah. For instance, maybe someone suggests, we could have a team picnic this summer.
Okay, nice idea.
And a great response is just, oh, I like that idea.
That feels right. A picnic isn't really about efficiency or a strict plan, is it?
Not usually, no. It's about a potentially fun group activity. I like that idea. It's simple, it's friendly, it shows you're personally open to it.
It encourages the suggestion.
Exactly. It signals that the idea itself has landed positively with you, which might lead to discussing it more. It's all about your personal approval of the concept.
Simple, direct, works anywhere. Okay, great. Now, the next one sounds like it adds a bit of hesitation. Or maybe consideration.
That's a good way to put it. The fourth alternative is, that could work.
That could work. You can almost hear the pause. So this is for when you're not totally sure.
Right. You're not 100% sold, perhaps. But you see merit in it. You think it's a suggestion worth considering. It has potential. It's a qualified positive.
So it introduces a bit of subtlety.
Definitely. That could work is fascinating because it acknowledges the idea's potential value or effectiveness, but it holds back from a full endorsement.
It suggests it's plausible, maybe.
Plausible, yeah. Or worth exploring further. Maybe it has potential if certain conditions are met, or if we think it through more.
So it's useful when you're still figuring things out. Problem solving, maybe.
Exactly. Evaluating options, brainstorming solutions where things aren't clear-cut yet. It keeps the idea in play, shows you're taking it seriously, but doesn't commit you instantly.
It feels quite collaborative, actually, like you're inviting more thought on it.
It does. It keeps the conversation about the idea going. For example, imagine you're working on a presentation.
Okay.
And someone suggests, how about we switch the order of these two slides?
Right, that could change the whole flow.
Exactly. It's not a minor change. So a natural response might be, that could work.
And the is key there, isn't it?
Often, yes. It signals you're actively processing it. You see how it might improve things, maybe the flow, maybe the emphasis.
Yeah.
But you're also aware it might need adjustments or might have other effects.
So it says, okay, I see the potential benefit. Let's think about this.
Precisely. It's not a no. It's not even a definite yes yet. It's an, okay, this is a possibility worth considering.
Right.
It often leads to follow-up questions like, how would that look? Or what else would we need to change? It shows engagement in finding the best way forward.
The phrase of exploration and potential. I like that. Okay, we've had logical, action-oriented, personal liking and potential. What's the last one? You said it brings the energy.
It really does. The fifth and final alternative is simply brilliant.
Brilliant. Okay, that definitely sounds enthusiastic.
It is. It's described as enthusiastic, sometimes noted as sounding a bit British, though it's used more widely now, and it's perfect for when you genuinely love an idea, when it strikes you as really clever or exciting.
So this isn't just good, it's excellent, inspired.
Yes. It conveys strong, positive excitement admiration, it's a high-level endorsement. That note about it being British-sounding is just context.
Mm.
It is very common there as a strong positive, maybe sometimes feeling a touch more emphatic than just great or awesome,
Yeah.
depending on who's talking.
But the core feeling is high enthusiasm.
Absolutely. It's for ideas that really spark something in you, that seem particularly inventive or fun or effective.
It's like a verbal exclamation mark for the idea. What's a good example?
Well, think of something that usually makes people happy or excited. Maybe someone suggests, let's surprise Sarah with a birthday cake at the meeting.
Ah, nice. And the response.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that fits perfectly. Surprising someone with cake is usually a fun, thoughtful idea.
Right. It generates that immediate positive vibe.
Yeah.
And brilliant
Yeah.
just matches that energy. It signals strong approval, delight, probably enthusiasm to participate.
It leaves no doubt about how you feel.
None at all. Compared to the others, brilliant is much stronger emotionally. It's the peak of positive affirmation in this set. Real excitement and appreciation for the idea itself.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That really covers a whole spectrum, doesn't it? From the cool logic of, that makes sense.
To the action agreement of, that sounds like a plan.
The simple approval of, I like that idea, the thoughtful consideration of, that could work.
All the way to the sheer enthusiasm of brilliant.
It's really clear how each one paints a slightly different picture of your reaction. Much more informative than just good idea every time.
Exactly. And to really cement this, seeing them in quick conversational snippets helps a lot. It makes the context feel really natural.
Yeah, those little dialogues make it click. Let's run through those. They show how these phrases just slide into everyday talk.
Okay, first up, an office scenario.
Right. Person A says, if we move the meeting to 10 a.m., we'll avoid the lunch rush downstairs.
The person B replies, that makes sense. Let's do that.
Okay, textbook use of that makes sense.
Totally. The suggestion is pure logistics, avoid a problem, optimize the schedule. The response immediately shows they get the reasoning, they see the sense in it.
And the let's do that seals the deal, moving from understanding to action.
Precisely. Shows comprehension, agreement on the logic, then commitment. Nice and efficient.
Okay, next snapshot, making plans.
Right. Person A. Let's grab coffee after class and talk about our project.
Person B. Sounds like a plan.
Perfect fit again.
Yeah.
It's a specific proposal for action coffee, project talk. Sounds like a plan. Is that ideal informal confirmation? Yep, I'm in. That's what we'll do.
It's all about agreeing to the arrangement. None of the deeper analysis needed.
Exactly. Just confirming the next step together. Casual, ready to go.
Got it. Snapshot 3, brainstorming.
Person A. You know, we should decorate the classroom for Teacher's Day.
Person B. Oh, I like that idea. We could start gathering materials tomorrow.
See, decorating is a creative suggestion. I like that idea. Is that simple, positive, personal reaction. It's encouraging, especially in brainstorming.
It validates the concept itself.
Right. And then adding the action step, we could start tomorrow, shows the positive feeling is strong enough to want to move forward on it.
Nice. Okay, number 4, problem solving. This is where things get maybe a bit more complex.
Person A. Driving looks like a nightmare. Maybe we could take the train instead.
Person B. That could work. Let's check the schedule and prices.
There it is. That could work. Taking the train is an alternative solution to the driving problem.
But it's not a definite yes.
Exactly. It acknowledges the train is feasible, it could solve the problem. But the follow-up, let's check, shows there are factors to consider. Time, cost, convenience.
So it keeps the idea alive for evaluation.
Yes. It's collaborative consideration. Okay, potential solution here, let's investigate.
Makes sense. And finally, the fun one, casual chat.
Person A. Hey, what if we all dress up like superheroes for Maria's party?
Person B. Brilliant! That would be so much fun.
You can just feel the energy there, can't you? Superhero costumes, fun, creative, maybe a bit wild.
Totally.
Brilliant is the perfect response. It matches that high energy, shows immediate, strong, positive excitement, and that would be so fun explains exactly why it's brilliant.
Unambiguous delight.
Exactly.
Seeing them like that, back to back in these little scenes, it really drives home how each phrase fits a specific moment and conveys a particular shade of meaning.
Yeah, it moves you way beyond just generic agreement. You're tailoring your response.
And that leads to the bigger picture, doesn't it? This idea that using variety isn't just about vocabulary.
Right. It's fundamentally about how you come across. It shows personality and it shows confidence.
Okay, let's unpack that. Personality first. How does using, say, that makes sense versus brilliant show personality?
Well, think about it. Instead of one flat response, you're showing the type of positive reaction you're having. Are you the logical type who appreciates smart thinking? That makes sense. Are you someone who gets easily excited by fun ideas? Brilliant. Are you collaborative and thoughtful? That could work.
So the choice of phrase reflects your specific take on the idea.
Exactly. It allows different facets of your own thinking and feeling to come through. Your communication becomes richer, more authentic,
Yeah.
more you. It adds color, whereas using the same phrase all the time can feel a bit, well, gray.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
And confidence. How does using these different phrases project confidence?
Well, think about sticking to just, that's a good idea. It's safe, right? It's easy. Doesn't require much thought.
It's the comfort zone.
Precisely. Choosing between that makes sense, sounds like a plan, that could work, etc., requires you to actually quickly assess the situation. You need to understand the idea, the context, your own reaction, and then pick the best fit from your options.
Even if it happens fast, that's a more active process.
It is. And that active selection, that linguistic agility, signals comfort and competence with the language. It shows you're not just passively using default phrases, you're actively choosing the right tool for the job. And that inherently comes across as more confident.
So it's the engagement itself that signals confidence. You sound more thoughtful, more present.
I think so. And for you, the listener, starting to incorporate these isn't just about sounding better in some abstract way. It's about being a more effective communicator. Your responses mean more.
They're more interesting, more informative. They reflect you better.
Absolutely. It adds nuance, makes interactions more meaningful, and lets your voice come through more clearly. It's a small shift with potentially big results in how you connect.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the 5 phrases we dove into.
We had that makes sense for the logical, the smart idea.
Then that sounds like a plan when you're agreeing to an action or arrangement.
I like that idea. That
Yeah.
simple, direct, personal approval that works almost anywhere.
Followed by that could work, acknowledging potential while inviting more thought.
And finally, brilliant for that burst of genuine enthusiasm and excitement.
And the big takeaway is that each has its own place, its own flavor. Choosing the right one makes your English richer, more expressive, more precise.
Exactly. So the encouragement for you listening is start noticing these. You'll hear them around you. And then give it a try yourself. Next time someone shares an idea, just take that split second to think.
Which phrase really fits? What am I actually trying to convey here?
Is it the logic, the plan, the potential, my simple liking, or am I genuinely thrilled? Find the phrase that matches.
It really is about using the right tool for the communication job. And maybe a final thought to leave you with as we wrap up this deep dive.
Go for it.
Just consider how these tiny choices we make in language, how we affirm an idea, or maybe even how we hesitate, how they can subtly steer a conversation or affect a relationship or even shape how a project develops.
The ripple effects of small words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other small shifts in how you use language could end up having a surprisingly big impact on how you connect and interact with the world? Something to ponder.
Definitely something to think about long after this conversation ends.
Indeed. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into really getting your approval across effectively.
My pleasure. Thanks for listening. And join us next time on Daily Easy English Talk.
Make sure you subscribe to Daily Easy English Talk so you don't miss that one or any of our future tips.
You'll get access to everything we've done.
And as always,
Thanks for listening.